Within the Toltec wisdom of Anáhuac, the concept of nawallism is the neural point of the Toltec itself, where the Toltecs were named as the Toltec nawallis, cultured and integral beings in their entirety, since the nawal represents the totality of the source of where we all come from, expressed in a fractal within this illusory holographic projection called the tonality matrix, where the nawal is forged within us. Nawalli comes from the root nawi, which is 4 in Nahuatl language, the first exponential number that is split potential for energy splitting as multidimensional beings that we are, fitting the concept of Tloque Nahuac, that means the center and the periphery, derived from the principle of fractality, as within, so without, as above, so below. That potential is manifested in the concept of MOYOKOYANI, that means which creates and transforms itself. In this way, we unfold all the time. Hence, a nawalli is the one that flows within fluids or realities. Al-Nahuatl means fluid, referring to the language that describes a way to speak fluently, clearly, in harmony, and above all, coherently and saving energy, with few to say a lot. Since Nahualism is clear in its basic position, which is knowing how to create fine energy, use it masterfully, and save it, in order to be able to self-complete ourselves, to be able to change the frequency that anchor us in density, and thus be able to connect with our potential of perception from the nawalli, our quantum double, in a conscious way from dreams. Here begins the path of evolution, which they call Quetzalcoatl, a beautiful allegory of transcending the density of matter and the dual and illusory waveform of electricity, which is represented by the serpent, whose feathers sprout to rise and transform into that holistic and empowered being. This evolution, the Toltec tradition call it tonaltia, which means to become a sun. That is an allegory of shining with your own glow or brilliance from within. An individual task where you sacrifice the rational animal that only moves by external impulses and dense stimuli. Hence, the Toltecs called this primitive being Tlacatl, which means half, because humans are not a finished product yet, since they must once again become aware of what they are, and through work and their own merits, transform themselves following the steps of the Toltecayot, of living in balance and harmony. And the one who began this path was called a Masewali, the one who earns everything by his or her own labor, beings who take the responsibility for their lives and their actions, impeccably living their own flourished world until they become a Toltec warrior. The Toltecs don't think or are hoping that our salvation consists in the grace of a God, of the intercession of a prophet, but in the works that promote the evolution of the consciousness. Every Masewali is her and his own God and Master, and is his and her own word and medicine. In the Toltec tradition, we have the concept of flourish world, that is, defeat ourselves. The first step consists in to learn to be integral, that our thoughts, words, and actions being of one piece and go in one direction. The second step is to learn to live here and now, Nikanashka, realizing that we don't have time to lose anymore, and acquiring one permanent consciousness of being. And the third one is cultivate our inner warrior, that our ancestors called Yaopan, the path of the warrior, described in the Huehuetlatoli, the ancient text that they say, here there is a brave warrior, that the daytime never rests. He is our exaltation. He is the real eagle, the real jaguar. He comes to make us grow and conserve. He gives new energy and flourishes, shines and dignifies. That's why he receives our respect. There was wisdom in them. They didn't know any kind of sin. They had holy devotion. They lived healthy without any illness or any pain. Straight was their body. Text of Chilambalam, the Mayan book.